What we should mention, Caroline, is that this is not being called a coronation,
no,
as it was the one we saw earlier in the year for King Charles. This is a proclamation, simply because Denmark does not do coronations anymore, so it's a proclamation or an ascension to the throne. And while it is probably a bit more of a laid-back affair to what we saw at the pomp and ceremony in Britain, this is the Danes' way of doing things.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And they've also had a lot less time to organise,
yes,
obviously, compared to the British version, which we saw earlier last year. Look, to be honest, if you want to make any sort of comparisons there, what is happening here today is a little bit more like when Charles was proclaimed king immediately after the Queen passed away. And you'll remember there was plenty of ceremony attached to that as well. There was the proclamation, there was that meeting in front of all the Privy Council, and so it's not dissimilar in that sense. They'll be having the Danish State Council there today. So that there's probably the closer comparison than the coronation itself, which was obviously months of planning. But even though, like, when you look at these photos here, they haven't had much time, but just to get that regiment all organised, just simply to do this sort of, parade to the palace. Like, I imagine that everyone has been working around the clock since that abdication, or the announcement of the abdication, just to get this done. I mean, the Queen, the British Queen, passed away in September 22, and they didn't have the coronation until May 23.
No.
So they have plenty of time to get that all sorted.
We just saw a very brief glimpse of Princess Mary there in that car. It shouldn't be too far away now from Christiansborg Palace. What we don't know yet, though, is what she's wearing.
No,
and which tiara she'll also be wearing. There have been some suggestions that part of her dress will be a bit of a nod to her heritage in Australia, her Tasmanian roots. But we are yet to find out what she will be wearing. But she's always been very classy. And there have been some comparisons with Princess Kate, for example, about the beautiful outfits that they wear at these royal events. But as we can see there, the car is making its way now into Christiansborg Palace. So it looks like it has actually arrived. We are expecting that Queen Margrethe will also arrive about the same time for that official succession to take place, and that's expected to happen in the next hour or so, and hopefully we might get a glimpse of them as they step out of that car. But look, this is a big moment as well for Prince Frederik, because he really has the weight of Denmark on his shoulders. A lot of people have watched him grow up. They've seen him from a boy to a teenager to a party prince, and now taking on the role as the senior monarch of Denmark.
Absolutely, and perhaps not a role that he was always necessarily comfortable with. I think in his younger years, he was definitely a little bit unsure about, well, he knew that was going to be his destiny. He knew he was going to become king. I'm not quite sure how comfortable he was with it, though. But yeah, absolutely, this is what he was born to do. And I suppose even though you may know over the course of your life that this is going to happen, I mean, as was reported just last week, he was only given 3 days' notice by the Queen that she was going to abdicate. So, yeah, okay, you know that's going to happen eventually, but then all of a sudden it's front of mind when you may not have thought it was going to be.
No, absolutely. Let's listen in now to a bit of the atmosphere that's building in Copenhagen.